Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has officially launched his comeback and his presidential run for 2024. Trump wins the CPAC straw poll as attendees clamor for him to run again. CNN, the trusted news and name. The article will be below in the description section. USA chants drown out boos as Trump enters arena for UFC match. And the reality, that's the hill, that'll be below. The reality is, Daily Mail, crowd erupts and cheers as Donald Trump makes appearance at UFC 264. Amazing fight between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. And so, can anyone deny that this man is charismatic and that millions of people admire him or appreciate what he's done for the country? Can you possibly, if you are this morally superior liberal Democrat, or if you are this morally superior conservative who has convinced yourself that if you only found a good conservative, media would treat him or her with an objective and nonpartisan and unbiased viewpoint. If only you had somebody like Mittens Romney, a good Republican, who quaffs his hair and puts his dog out on top of his car for cross-country trips like good normal conservatives. A good Republican who doesn't say mean things and doesn't tweet really bad things. You know, I can go on forever. Hit subscribe, by the way, to this channel. President Trump has launched his 2024 presidential campaign. It's official. You can share this with anybody you'd like. The links, the articles will be below in the description section that prove he's back. And hit subscribe. We had 1,000 live viewers. We had 1,000 people on the chat live stream last night. I will have a live stream tonight at around 9 p.m. Pacific, so be here. We had 1,000 plus people. It's pretty awesome. If you want to support my work, my Patreon is below in the description section. I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding like some monstrosities that are being sued right now for discrimination. Anyway, we had record low unemployment, record low Black and Latino unemployment, tremendous wage increases. Then they said, well, real wages haven't increased that much. How are real wages now? How are real wages doing right now in Biden's America? Because we have inflation we have inflationary concerns we never had with Trump. And that's what real wages take into account. And interestingly enough, the same people who tried to disparage Trump on real wages didn't realize that not every state has the same inflation rate. There's an inflation rate for the country and an inflation rate by state. Democratic-run states have the highest increases in inflation. The greatest increases, exponential increases in crime. That's a fact. You have the worst outcomes in terms of the pandemic, according to the New York Times statistics, highest per capita rates and greatest number of lives lost, unfortunately. And God bless the people of New York and New Jersey. Those two states, especially New York, have been the epicenter of this terrible tragedy and crisis. And AOC and de Blasio and Schumer and Gillibrand, they've gotten away. That the New York Times never engages in any investigative journalism. Why? Why is New York the epicenter? It's run by Democrats. They also have the highest unemployment rates. Fact, go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay? They had like 7-8% unemployment rate. New York, California, New Jersey, Illinois. So they have the highest unemployment rates, the worst outcomes, yet they pontificate the most. And Trump is a horrible person because he tweets. Meanwhile, the worst thing President Obama did was actually engage in a failed NATO intervention that obliterated a country in Libya. And you want to compare that to Trump's tweets? You want to compare that to Trump's rhetoric? And I agree. I agree that President Trump shouldn't have insulted LeBron James. He shouldn't have insulted NFL athletes. He shouldn't have done those things. I agree with that. I actually agree with that. He didn't have to do those things. It did the country, it did him no good. You already know what side President Trump is on these cultural issues. He didn't need to do that. But media took it, ran with it, made it something it wasn't. And Democrats run on, their fuel is indignation. So if you look, we had a president who reversed U.S. foreign policy single-handedly. His populist foreign policy. He has the tariffs he imposed on the country with the greatest the greatest population in the world, with the Great Wall, beautiful country. The tariffs he imposed on that country, Biden has not reversed. I wonder why. We had record low unemployment, record low Black and Latino unemployment. Wages were increasing at a faster pace than in years. Fact, all a fact. You want to say it's President Obama? Well, you know what? You can't say that Clinton would have done the same thing because President Trump engaged in tax cuts. Dallas Federal Reserve said that the tax cuts increased the GDP by a substantial number. So you can't say that Clinton would have engaged in the same tax cuts. And you can't say that his policies didn't account for the increase in GDP, gross domestic product. You want the economy to grow. You want people to work. You want people to flourish economically. You want wealth to be generated. Okay? That's all gone now in Biden's America. They're looking at an infrastructure plan that would actually decrease GDP in 10 years, according to Wharton School of Business. It's like absurd. And then some estimates say it might boost GDP. It's like, what are you doing? You have gleefully tanked the United States economy because science and safety, which anyway, everybody went to Costco or Target or Walmart. I mean, you tell people, you tell 320 million Americans don't go out, they're going to go to the supermarket. And so instead of people enjoying themselves in a cafe with 10% or 25% capacity where you can still keep people working, you tank the economy, and then they all go and huddle in locations where at the end of the day you're not preventing people from interacting. Anyway, I'll read you this. Trump wins CPAC straw poll as attendees clamor for him to run again. He negotiated a deal to get Americans out of our longest-running counterinsurgency conflict. He removed Americans from harm's way from numerous countries. Do you understand Democrats and morally superior liberals don't care about this? They care about a very important issue, climate change, but there's no actual policy that they can agree upon, and there's no date when the world will end. It's a religion. It's become this dogma that they claim to see. These are the atheists who, when you say the word climate change, generally either atheist or agnostic, which is fine. Being atheist and agnostic is fantastic, but if you're a morally superior liberal Democrat and you don't believe in God, but you believe John Brennan when he said that Trump worked with Russia based on high confidence, that's a problem. And then when you get this Pavlovian response from the phrase climate change, and you have no clue how to address it, and even John Kerry said if we went to zero emissions, and if the largest country in the world went to zero emissions, it wouldn't make a dent. So it's like, okay. So, but President Trump actually did something tangible. Negotiated a deal to remove Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. That's why when he went to UFC 246, he was cheered. That's why when you remove the CNN panelists and the Washington Post journalists and the PolitiFact fact checkers and the Washington Post running tally of misleading statements and lies, you get a picture of reality because they don't hold Biden to the same standard they hold Trump. if you wanted to have a running tally of the lies and misleading statements told by President Obama and Bush and Biden, you'd get all, and media on a daily basis, you would get an infinitely more lies and misleading statements than what they attribute to Trump. And like 25% of the Washington Post's tally of lies and misleading statements were actually 100% true, according to CBS Market Watch and one analysis. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel. We have a long road ahead. Not really. 2022 is around the corner. Once you get Trump Republicans in the House of Representatives, impeachment is you-know-what. Payback's a you-know-what. And we already know that Hunter's emails are more than enough to impeach a president that has lied through his teeth. See, Democrats need government to enrich themselves. They're not rich already. Trump never needed government to enrich himself, yet they made a big deal about, oh my God, he's taking advantage of government. Well, what about Biden? Trump, almost everything they said about him was a lie, or it didn't prove anything, and then they have to go after Alan Weisselberg's leased cars. They went from he's an operative of Russia to Alan Weisselberg leased cars. I mean, this is like, they went from he is a national security risk to, oh my God, he paid for his CFO's grandchildren's tuition. They despise him and they want to torment him. That's not the rule of law. That's all they want to do with Trump. Everyone sees this. Even Democrats see this. Even Democrats, but they're okay with it. Because they're morally and spiritually compromised. When you enjoy the suffering of others, you have a major problem in your life. Now, when the Clintons were being investigated for whitewater or servers with when Hillary Clinton had top secret intelligence on private servers, I didn't enjoy the fact that she was being investigated or getting away with everything. It didn't fill my spirit or soul with it. I don't have anything against either Clintons. I look at them with this fascination and curiosity, and I just point out, just letting everybody know, yes, top secret intelligence. And when I wrote in the Huffington Post Salon, all of those articles, it's like, that's top secret intelligence outside the United States government. You don't want to do anything about it? Okay, that's James Comey's responsibility. Pointing out that that's not right. But I didn't have this deviant obsession with Clinton's personality that Democrats have with Trump. I don't even mind Clinton's personality that much when she's actually just talking and not reading from a script. But they get this visceral reaction to Trump that is not reality. And with the recounts, obviously President Biden will remain president until 2024, but with the recounts, the political victory Trump will derive is that for millions of people who wonder how Prince Valium was able to get so much support from slurring speech and lying through his teeth and being the antithesis of charisma or, rational or lucid thought, the possible discrepancies will give I would say, political momentum to supporters of President Trump, or even people who are wondering why we have this political outcome. Give me your thoughts below. President Trump, unfortunately for Democrats who just wish he'd go away, if Biden walked into UFC 264, if Biden walked into a mall, nobody would care. Really, nobody would care. If anything, they'd want to look at him just out of compassion, hopefully he doesn't trip, or they want they hope he's okay. It wouldn't be this energy, enthusiasm. If the current occupant in the Oval Office went to any sporting event or a mall, it would be, or any public venue, it would be this bizarre curiosity. It wouldn't be this passionate support. And whereas some people might boo Trump, you better believe that at UFC 246 and any location, you would find people like, even the ones that don't like Trump, they would want to see him. And the ones that do like Trump would be cheering and USA, USA, and then they'd get this energy. He single-handedly reversed U.S. foreign policy and opposed the Lincoln Project and Democrats. And that's the primary reason everyone should have voted for him and should vote for him in the future. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right